You are now listening to the Old Head, New Head podcast with your hosts, Eric Iberg and Ethan Schaefer.
Goddamn kids.
Shut up, old man!
Yeah! You made it. Congratulations.
I made it. We made it to Seattle. All is good. The traffic here is crazy, so we're almost late. Not quite late, but we made it. We're stoked.
Well, sounds like nothing has changed. That 5 still sucks.
Yeah, dude. You try to go like 2 miles, and it is just dragging on. But we got our supplies. I see you're already smoking on something. I got a little Rainier since we're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I got a monster vodka tonight. This is a special celebration because Dave Crichton was the first technically monster athlete before it was Monster. It was called Hanson's. We'll get into it.
Whoa.
Then we restocked. You didn't get a chance to worry about me, but my jar got low. So went and visited the farmer, Mr. Ross Jacob, supplied me with all my THC needs and my CBD needs from Dark Horse Farms. He can take care of you guys too. We'll have a discount. And then to roll all my spliffs at my 3 DPHs, 3 doobies per hour in these interviews, Lazy Susan takes care of my paper needs. So fucking just stoked tonight, buddy. You, what is this, show 7 or 8?
Last week you thought it was 6 or 7. It was 5. This week we're number 6. We are number 6.
It's hard to keep track, man.
It is. Iberg, you look younger this week. Did you shave?
No, it's white. I was fucking throwing some white. I did shave, but I shaved before last show too. But no, we'll just go with the white, buddy.
Beautiful. Well, who we got? You already said it. We got Dave Crichton. That's who we got.
David Crichton from Ontario. It's incredible.
Yes, dude. We're staying in Canada for a little bit. We got the Ontario. I'll tell you what I know about Crichton before you tell the people what they need to know.
I'm curious what, so put in perspective, I think he's 41 years old, so I'm super interested. Did you know who he was, first of all, before I brought him up?
Yes, I knew who he was, but I wouldn't have if it wasn't for the magazine archiving project I did, because he was big. He was all over those Freeze magazines when I was digitizing those, so I saw his name quite a few times. And then when I interviewed Emmett Davis the first time, founder of Vishnu, he said that Crichton was a huge inspiration. He described it then and recently when I texted him as the first guy he saw skiing with his brain, thinking about stuff and skiing in a different way because he was thinking about it. So I'm excited to talk to him. He seems like a cool guy, but you seem especially stoked up on him.
I'm just stoked. Honestly, I'm stoked every person we have. Mm-hmm. It's so fun for me. For what you just said from the Vishnu guys' comments, and then I was talking to Phil Casabon today. I was like, yo, what do you got? And he's like, well, Dave Crichton is for sure the most what's the word?
Underrated
skier of all time. And I thought about it, and I was like, fuck, man, you're right, Phil. So we're going to be able to talk about that. This guy was a style god. We had a guy named Mikhail Dishno at the beginning who was pure style. Then Dave Crichton came in same year, 2001, and he fucking put technical shit on what Emmett was saying. Everyone else was still pretty mogul-y, pretty upright, pretty on access, and then this kid came out and did urbans with multiple kinks when everyone else was still sliding straight on, straight off. He was spinning. It was just next level. Had the biggest headphones, had do-rags hanging out of his pocket.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Who is this kid? And then he had some Japanese sponsors. So He's got a unique story, and then he disappeared. And so that's what's going to be interesting about it for the show for me tonight, because he was top game. He was pro model skier with Dina Star, and then poof, there went David Crichton, never to be seen again.
Damn. Yeah, I watched his forward segment, and that's a segment, with a couple minor tweaks that could easily be dropped today, and no one would have any issue with it. He's got some visionary stuff, man. It's really.
I watched his right before this, his second generation, which is 2001.
Yeah.
By Level One Productions. And like, man, like just to watch, because I made a high-end film with like all like Candide and the Three Fills and all these.
Yeah.
And when I watched what Chricton was doing, it kind of put these guys to shame as far as like next level, like being unique and stylish and different rotations. So pretty awesome.
Well, you did a joint segment with him and Mikkel and Stereotype, right? I think I might have seen that today.
So that was 2002, because I was so stoked on him from 2001. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I got to film with this guy. And like, he was the Mikkel guy. Like, he was the next Mikkel. And then Chricton influenced a guy named Corey Vanuler. And then Corey Vanuler influenced a whole fucking generation.
Yeah.
So it's like, this guy's a huge bridge because, I mean, he was the best competitor as well. Like, he beat Tanner a shitload. He beat Simon Dumont a shitload in the pipe. So this guy was the best pipe skier in the world in 2004 and 5.
Crazy. Well, let's get him on. Let's send him the invite. Before we do that, shout out to Jake Dubé giving me his bedroom to record in. Shout out Line Skis. He's got some top sheets behind me. I don't even know what top sheets these are. There's some alien looking top sheets.
Oh, what? So you're in Seattle today?
I'm in Seattle today. That is correct. I'm in Seattle probably for the next week, I'd say. And we're going to hang out here for a little while. So I might be here for the next couple episodes. And if those materialize, we got some good people coming up.
We do, man. It's going to be a fun, like, pound this shit out for a month and a half, 2 months straight this summer.
Yep.
The people all fall.
Yeah.
Email sent. I let them know. I was exactly at my time, so.
Yeah. Perfect. We're good. Beautiful. I'm glad I made it. It's always a scramble when you don't have a home. Where are you coming to us from this week, Ivor?
Southern Minnesota, man. Same place. In the garage. Big bag of weed, some beverages.
I like the brief tour you gave us last week with Ed Joy when you had to run to the restroom. You gave us a quick little impromptu tour of the house, just walking from your garage to the bathroom.
I left you guys on the stairs.
You did.
YouTube versions.
Yeah.
Probably could have turned off my fucking video like you do when you do things.
Yeah. I do a little stop video sometimes when I gotta. Last time I had someone dropping off stuff in my car, I had let somebody borrow my tent, and he showed up. So I was like, all right, I gotta retrieve my tent. But I'm in Dubé's room right now. He's got all sorts of stuff here. Look at this. Look what I got here. Oh, Jesus Christ. He actually has a ton of stuff. I don't want to knock anything over, but look at these. Have you seen these boots? The last ever full tilts?
Those are dope as fuck.
Gold.
Claim.
The claim. Yeah.
There he is.
Uh-oh. Let's see what happens.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, David?
Good. How are you doing?
Fuck, you look the same. That's awesome. Been a while.
So do you.
Yeah, man. So I guess I'm going to give you a little breakdown of what we're doing because I typed it through my thumbs, but we'll do it for people that just start on the show today. You know, Ethan and I was on Ethan's show for his two playing podcast this winter, and I realized that I don't have a fucking clue what the youth think. And I realize I'm 44 years old, and I'm like, man, I don't get what any kid 25 and younger is doing in the sport of skiing, even though I consume it and I'm just interested. And it was super fun. And so I talked to Ethan after that show, and I was like, yo, man, like, we should start a show, like an old head, new head podcast, talk to like an old guy, get their experiences, what they went through. And then we can use it for me to pick the young guys' brains because I'm so interested what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve, whatever. And maybe the person that's listening to the show can learn shit from the old guys and also the newer guys, the younger kids, but maybe even the younger guys we talk to can learn something from the old guys. So it's kind of a show where I figure there's so much dope shit out there and you guys have so much knowledge. And it's kind of a way to like pat you on your back for all the dope ass shit that you guys all have ever created. And at the same time, learn your story on why you're so dope. You know, because you certainly certifiably are. So that's why we got you on here. So that's the story idea of the show.
Amazing.
I'm gonna hand you off to Ethan, because the fun part is Ethan doesn't know a lot about any of the older guys, right? But he's into the fucking sport right now, where he can tell me everything about that's happening right now. So I think this part's kind of fun as fuck too, because then he gets to do all the research on you guys, learn about it, like even people that
How old are you, Ethan?
I just turned 26.
26.
I was born in 98, yeah.
And you're 41, Chricton?
This year, yeah. I'm still 40 right now.
Congratulations. Normally I drink 40s on this show. I wish I would have tonight. Too late. So yeah, Ethan, take it all over, and then we can
Let's begin. I always like to start the same way, just because it gives a little context for where people are at in their lives. Dave, where are you coming to us from right now? I suspect you're in Ontario, because from what I read, you're just a lifelong Ontario resident.
Yeah, Ottawa, Ontario.
Nice. And is that where the journey all begins for you?
That's right where it all started, yeah.
Okay, sick. And so I was doing a lot of research today, man. Reading a lot, watching a lot. And I think this is a running theme, Iberg. Were you a mogul kid when you were in your youth?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so this is where it all starts. It is a theme, yeah. That's just the trend it was on. So could you give us a little rundown of early Dave Crichton days? Because I know you got lots of siblings, and they were all skiers too. And yeah, we could just set like a little baseline for how you got into everything.
Yeah, early days was just got into skiing as a family, and then family ski trips, family weekend skiing, and then eventually my oldest brother got into the freestyle program one year, and then I can't remember if he did a whole. I think he did a whole year maybe, or he did a Christmas camp. And then the rest of us joined the next year, or the next in the winter, and then just all snowballed from there.
So you were super into this was freestyle, like moguls, right? Did you do anything else?
Yeah,
like aerials?
No, only ever did upright aerials. Twister, spread.
And so, like, interesting part for me, because your brother was that's big on Michael Chricton, right? That's his name.
Yeah. Yes.
He's got such great, awesome videos from Aggressive Productions online.
Yeah.
Going back to '97. Yeah. So, like, what I always thought was super fun, and what I still think is super fun, I'm like, man, you had an older brother that was super into like putting videos together of competition sport at the time, realistically, right? So that's you're super interesting, because you were such a young teenager at this time when a camera's on you, and between the comps, people were grabbing their skis. So first of all, I'm interested, like, when you joined the mogul team and stuff like that as a little guy, were you an Olympic dream guy? Did you see like Jean-Luc Brassard when you were a kid and you were like, I'm going to win the Olympics? Or what was your freestyle desires when you joined it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. My focus was, in like, my whole attitude was definitely competitive and like moguls and just trying to win. It was like in it to try and win contests, right, in moguls. And that obviously in moguls it was go to the Olympics. And around there, like Ottawa, the national office for freestyle was in Ottawa at that time. So there was like the admin presence and everything, and then Ottawa has a pretty deep history of successful freestyle skiers.
Really?
Even my hometown had an Olympian from my hometown.
A mogul?
Moguls. He was combined, actually, Darcy Downs.
Okay.
And then, I mean, the rest of the city had others, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I always never really thought of it.
I remember going to his house and his parents and like getting him to sign my helmet when I was like 11 years old.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So did you do
Yeah.
that?
So, and then the club team growing up was super. It was a strong era growing up, and all the parents were big into volunteering and organizing, and so it was a good time.
10 years old, you see Jean-Luc Brassard win 1994. You're fucking just perma stoked. And then others older, he's like, yeah, this is the way. And so, but what's really crazy, by the time you're like super impressionable, 12, 13, you get a seat and your brother's filming it. Like there's people grabbing their skis at this time almost, and stuff like that. Like, were you, I don't know. I'm so interested at your early age because you saw it so quick and you pivoted so quick. So what was it like? Because you were filming, was there a time like when you were like freestyle's the shit? Or freestyle meaning twin tip, doing tricks, not left, right, double twister spread stuff.
I mean, as soon as the guys started doing, who would have I can't think of the first time I ever saw whoever, but the second you saw the new Canadian Air Force doing dope shit, and you're like, well, Mogul sucks now.
Yeah,
more or less, right? Like,
I got two questions for you to help kind of lead this transition. What did you think at the time was the dopest upright aerials trick?
Probably a screaming seaman.
Okay. Oh, that is kind of. I still think those are very sick. And
Probably Cousin doing a double screaming seaman to the flats at Lorelei at the air site, and it was probably like -30, and took it to the flats.
Dude, that still sounds like a really sick trick. And so, okay, and what was the first trick you saw from the twin tip guys where you're like, holy shit, this is actually...
It would have been in the part. It was, I can't remember now. That's what's kind of, I can't remember maybe the first.
Or like if you could just remember like an early, because
I mean, for sure when Cousin did the 360 mute grab at senior nationals in Fortress Mountain in Alberta, was a turning point, 100%.
And were you there?
No, I wasn't there for that.
So I just saw it about it, or
I saw it. Saw it on the news, and it was like Meredith Gardner's like grabs the ski, beautiful. And JF gets to the bottom, and he's so pumped. And then they fucking hosed him, I think, on the score. He didn't win, did he? No.
I don't know. This sounds pretty.
That was on the top air. That was on the top air and like steep section. Had to find a landing pad in the moguls.
Damn. Dude, this is reminding me of our Johnny Mosley conversation. Everyone loves the 360 mute.
Everyone, man. We've had Tanner and Mosley, and now you as our third old head. So we kind of have people that are pretty stoked on moguls going on right now.
Yeah. Well, and I stuck in. I kept going on moguls until I lost my spot on the national team. And
how high did you go?
That was the shift for me. It was like, all right, well, you don't want me. I'm not going back to a year to try and re-qualify. So then it was just like, fuck it. I'll go full into new school.
You made the national mogul team.
Development, yeah.
So you did World Cup or NORAMs?
I only foreran a world. Did I forerun or do? I can't remember. I either foreran or competed in. I think I just foreran the Tremblant World Cup.
Okay. Did you do North American World Cups?
No.
Okay.
No.
What age were you when you finally left moguls? Because I know we got some overlapping timelines going on with your freestyle interest and your mogul interest as well.
Probably like 16 or 17 or something.
Okay, and you were into freestyle before you left moguls, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because Iberg, you I guess earlier on you insinuated that was a quick transition, but I think it was actually the opposite. I think it was kind of drawn out a little bit over your teen years.
I guess I look at
But it was literally living through the evolution as it happened, right? It was like the guys you're training moguls, and then everyone would go and hit the park after moguls and be like, this is more fun. And people were progressing the sport like every week, at those park
I guess
sessions.
when I say it was fast for David, I mean like the idea that he didn't go like try to get his spot back on the team.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, bam, fuck it. I'm not, because also understand David is the same age as Tanner.
Yeah,
Like, they're the exact same age. So their progression and what the goals are, and say like in 98, 99, you just saw 98 Olympics, and it's like, but you can really say fuck moguls if you want, and there's something really fun to do. There's camera guys, like David's brothers.
Was 98 Nagano or Salt Lake?
98 was Nagano.
No, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think as a young mogler? What'd you think of Tanner? Just Montaner coming from the West, because he's the same age.
I didn't know much about Tanner in the mogul when he was in the moguls, and then he switched maybe around the same, or maybe a little sooner, right? So I knew he had a moguls background.
Yeah, but that's all you know. You didn't see him as a big mogul.
Our paths hadn't crossed in moguls. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw him years later, back in the day, in an interview talking about how good you were in the pipe. So I wasn't sure if you guys had met each other prior to all the freestyle stuff.
No.
Interesting, very interesting. Could you tell me a little bit more about the Aggressive Instincts film crew that you had going on there? Because I had never heard of it, but it seems like it's
So that is my brother's. That's his channel, and he filmed everything. He filmed everything. My mom filmed everything. He filmed everything. We all filmed, and then he edited it all. Yeah.
That's so sick. Yeah, I saw the trailer.
It's huge.
Part of your freestyle journey, filming as it was competing. Like, even though you were out to win, it seems like you always had a camera on too.
Oh yeah, because we were trying to make those videos too, right?
So you were actually trying to make video. It wasn't just training footage that competition that you threw together.
No, you wanted to make your own segment and yeah.
Who
what made you guys want to do that?
Yeah, what was the inspiration for that at the time?
Surfing, rollerblading,
and all those sports people were making movies.
Yeah.
What was your favorite rollerblade movie?
Fuck, Mr. Moose Knuckle, probably. With Matty Mance and like Chris Edwards and Arlo Eisenberg.
Dope name.
Dude, I don't know shit about rollerblading.
And
but
they had a lot of Midwest in that. Who is
Mr. Moose?
Yeah.
Harvesting
the Crust was mine. Shane Nelson, big up yourself. Scribe Industries.
Yeah.
Were there any ski movies at the time that you were juiced up on?
Funny, no, not really.
You didn't watch any ski movies as kids, you and your brother.
No, Warren Millers, we'd go to the Warren Millers, they'd play them in town, but it was kind of no. And then it was quickly the second the new school started coming, it was like, well, we're way cooler than any of that old. You had this like ageist mentality and presentism that we're cooler than the and now you come full circle and it's like, no, that was the coolest. Some of that stuff, right?
Yep.
That's wild. When did, and Iberg, we actually haven't talked about this with any of the new heads. When did newschoolers.com come onto the scene? Was that too late into your development for you to care, or did that timing line up nicely?
Oh, New Schoolers?
Yeah.
Yeah, New Schoolers was huge. It was
okay. Yeah.
Every pro was on this website till 2007.
Oh, yeah. I know. There's all the forms.
And then before apps on your phone, it'd be like you do your rounds on the different websites and
yeah.
Dude,
and all those threads are still there. I'm sure we could dig up some. Maybe that's the next evolution of research, Iberg. I start digging through these forums and seeing, a 19-year-old Dave Crichton arguing with some random kid.
Oh, you can find some gems of young kids that turned out like I think Josh Christensen has awesome stuff he posted when he was 10.
Yeah.
It keeps popping up. Like, yeah, it's a pretty fun. It was a pretty fun website.
Yeah, it's kind of died out now. So did that influence like this is kind of a question for both of you guys since we haven't talked about it at all. Like did that influence well, I'm sure it did, but how did that influence the culture at the time?
Here's my question for you, Dave, before that one. Was there something that you were able to interact with other skiers before New Schoolers? Or
the Poor Boys Forum.
Yeah, Poor Boys Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this one was the gnarliest. Dude, horrible. People used to get in fights. Like TGR people would get in fights with Jay Leventhal at Line Skis, with old people like Kreitler, and like it was so awesome. You'd be watching the biggest characters in all of skiing yelling at each other. Like you never seen nothing like it. Imagine like bosses of companies and heads of film groups and athletes getting paid just being like, "Fuck you, bro."
It was like it wasn't a closed forum, but it was not as huge as.
Yeah, it was pretty fun though.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So where was your first place though? Was it Poor Boys, the first place you ever like interacted or like saw anything?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was mine as well.
And so what was it the same as New Schoolers where you had videos and pictures and forums, or was it only a forum?
Just a forum.
Yeah, it was like black.
Gatto is Gatto. And you can actually go on that time machine on the internet and you can type in poorboys.com forum.
Yeah.
And you can time machine and go check out some of the shit.
That's insane.
Yep, nothing's ever lost, buddy. Internet gets you if you put it out there.
Okay, so you got internet forums, Chricton. When New Schoolers finally started blowing up, and like just I guess online video, did you start getting more into the ski movies at that point?
Yeah, the second Poor Boys, and then Level 1. That's every single year. You'd wait anxiously for them to drop.
What was your first favorite ski movie that you saw?
Degenerates.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Yeah, and that's Johnny D, right?
Yeah. Actually, Degenerates, and then probably watch the Smart Mogul skiing video 1,000 times. That was, yeah.
That was our freestyle before the freestyle. I had a Nelson Carmichael.
And the 10, and then when did the 1080 video come? It was Degenerates.
99. That was like the third. Maybe it was the same year as Degenerates because I had the test of the promo video too, and it was epic.
So watch that a trillion times too.
With the interviews of JF and like with flowers or something. Yeah, like sitting in some weird shrubbery.
What was this mogul video that you guys loved?
It was a super cheesy, kind of high production in a way, or cheap, but kind of over edited. Yeah, not high production.
It's a technique video.
Easy. Yeah.
You're there to watch it, but it's so dope because they're on the glacier and then they're boosting, and it looks like they're ripping because they're called like superhero bumps in the summer because you can kind of suck, but you look ill as fuck, and you can go like 10 times bigger. And when you land on a mogul that's sloppy, it doesn't hurt like an icy mogul. So everything, and they filmed it. And so it was a training, our entertainment. Like I watched a thing called Nelson Carmichael's mogul training. That was like 92. That was even like more retarded. Like, but it's still so awesome. It was like, no way. Sorry, you got me all stoked on mogul training videos.
Dude, this era, this era we're trying to make it sound cool and talk about cool that sounds so whack.
But that's what I'm saying. We had nothing. That's why the sport worked, because there was so much opportunity to create. His brother was making dope ass videos because it was probably doper than anything else out there.
Yeah. It wasn't hard to make something cooler come out of that.
Yeah, most definitely. I talked about that. I talked about that recently. I interviewed P. Arneson, and I was talking about how, like, and this is the same analogy, but it's like back in the day, before universities and stuff, like if you were academic at all, say that you were interested in animals. Back in the 1800s, you look at a deer and all of a sudden you're a biologist, So it seems like back in the early ski days, it's like, yeah, you do a 360 mute grab, you're the shit because no one's doing anything.
And you had instant friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
It was crazy the first 2 years.
Word.
So, Chricton, I want to know, say 98 or so, you see degenerates, you're still into moguls, because you come onto the scene hard, I'd say 2000, 2001. So you don't get your spot in what year? And then what is what do you do? Is there a contest that you can do right away in the sport in Ontario in 99 for a slopestyle?
I think it was straight to the U.S. Open in Vail.
And what year was your first U.S. Open?
I don't know. Would it have been 2000? It was still in high school.
So 2001, you were in second generation, if that can help you. So was your first U.S. Open second generation year, or do you think it was the year before?
No, probably it was either that year or the year before. Oakley House. Oakley had a house for a couple years there, right?
Mosley won slope style in 2000, and then who won Big Air? I don't know, but 2001 is just the year I remember you coming on.
It would have probably been 2001. Anyway, Oakley. I remember the Oakley House and all.
So you decided to switch. I'm just curious. I don't see, other than going, because you didn't win at the U.S. Open.
No,
didn't make your name. So I'm curious because you had such an interesting way of entering our sport. When you enter the sport, you show up with Fulio goggles and Fably shit and Heart Japan shit or something. Maybe not Fably's. But you were straight Japanese sponsored as a Canadian kid. And it didn't make sense. So, what did you do, man, when you quit moguls? Where did you go? US Open didn't get you a bunch of sponsors. How did you get involved in the sport and get sponsors?
Well, the Fablice and the Folio and the Heart, that was because of mogul skiing.
Okay. And you were pre-sponsored before going into...
But they also had what in Japan they were calling it air carving.
Yeah.
And they had that, right? They knew, I think Core Games had already started.
Yeah, 2000 was the first Core Games.
Yeah. So they were already interested in it. And then me and Rex Thomas and Warren Tanner, Fred McDonald were on that team with some Japanese guys. And I think
they gave you the opportunity to be more new school.
Yeah, that was 2 years or something with that. And then as soon as the moguls petered out, I can't remember if they were like, you're not doing moguls, you're not going, and then they canned it.
Okay.
And then I had to find new sponsors after that.
So Ethan Hart was pretty cool too. We talked about with Johnny. I was like, dude, you were on the Killer Bees and the Mambas. K2 Japan was the shit. So Chricton had the same thing where Hart Skis, they had Hart Japan, which was a full different company that had different products.
Yeah.
And so that's what Chricton was on. And so he had this Hard Skis pink twin tip that no one else in the world fucking had. So next question, Chricton, are you a big deal in Japan in the year 2000? Because I'm guessing you were in all the Bravo Ski and every other fucking magazine that didn't have any English in it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
You don't know? You didn't ever go there when you were under them?
I went there, but you don't.
You didn't have autograph signings they set up for you or anything?
Probably. We did a demo one year, Niseko, in the spring. I can't remember if there was.
When I went there,
crowds. It wasn't yeah.
It was the only place I ever seen girls cry over skiers. And that was 2001 because and then when the Phils were there with Phoenix, because Phoenix, they were so heavily promoted.
Yeah.
They were rock stars. And so I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, your stock was so huge with Fulio
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
man,
Should have probably just moved to Japan. And
I got a question. I got a young guy question. What were the core games?
David,
that
you're
was- well, it was a big air and a quarter pipe contest, right? Did they ever have anything more?
it was the
And they
most
ran
epic event for
2
us.
or 3 years, and they had huge prize money.
$30,000. It was the biggest purse.
Yeah, and they put you up in a hotel, and the food was all. Yeah.
Quarter pipe was epic. 2 tombstones on each side. And then like whatever, and then there's like skyscrapers in the background because
Yeah,
that's how they build their ski resorts. And then the crowds are out of hand. They are passionately involved. Like Japanese fans love mogul skiing more than you've ever seen. Like it's pretty wild. It might be the place where mogul skiing is the coolest in the world. And so that mentality came over right away when the sport switched over, especially because Mosley won the Olympics in Nagano.
Yeah.
Right. So those couple of years after for the sport through 2001 or 2 was like, it was really special in Japan. Like as far as the status of twin tippers.
And they had a magazine that you mentioned that was also a freestyle magazine that was Japanese only.
A lot.
Dude.
Yeah, they had, what was it, X Ski?
That one. I just was looking at that, not X Mind, but something with an X. And then Bravo Ski was the crossover one. That was everything. There's like 3 or 4 huge, like, and they're like,
You haven't talked to Chise, have you?
No, but we did bring her name up. I think with someone lately. But
It must have been Mosley because we were talking about Japan a lot with him. Yeah. Damn, dude. We
we were talking about the Phoenix girl, Harumi-san, not Chise-san. Oh, good. All right.
And they called it air carving.
Oh, that was so. There wasn't a name for the sport at the time, right? So everyone had their own thing. So Hart Skis just decided to call it air carving. That was sounded pretty Japanese, and that was their take on what freestyle skiing was.
Oh yeah, the ski air carved TT twin tip.
Damn, bro. This is every old head we talk to, a little bit more of the past is uncovered. We're like archaeologists.
I would love to know maybe for like what they're paying people sometimes. Just like there were what guys get paid now to go to events, but there were events even on the World Cup. I remember we got paid. You got paid to go to a World Cup halfpipe contest at Sunday River in Maine just to show up.
What year?
Free hotel and everything. Yeah, they had a halfpipe. It was sponsored by Captain Morgan.
You're saying not a World Cup, not FIS World Cup.
It was put on by FIS.
Wow.
And I want to. Maybe it was a NORAM. Maybe it was a NORAM, but it was put on by FIS. It was early days, and you literally got paid maybe $750 US just to go.
We'll
and
get
a free hotel.
I want to know how much now that you brought up money, because we'll get there in the future and answer that for you. But like, do you get paid by these Japanese companies at your early years when you're twin tipping, or do you just get product?
No, I was getting paid.
You get paid good? Because you're the only person I know that got paid by a Japanese company other than the Phils.
Yeah, I would think it was pretty good.
Can you say what it is nowadays?
It was definitely good when you're like 16 years old.
So you're 16 years old. You have skis by Heart Japan, clothing by Fablice, and eyewear by Fulio. What are you making? Folio. What are you making for a salary between those two in a year, or between 3?
I think it was 20 grand.
Hell yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah, man. Like, and then getting a contract from Japan. It's got to be so wild for parents in Ottawa. Being like, what? My kid's making $20,000 from this Japanese company to ski. Hooray.
Yeah.
And are you guys just like, how are you guys doing these contracts back in there? Are they mailing contracts? Are they faxing contracts? Or is this like, are they already on the internet? Because that's working with the Japanese company in the early 90s. That's kind of crazy. Late 90s.
That is a good question. It would have been email, and then it might have been 15, come to think of it. But anyways, email. I
did fax. In 2001, I was doing fax contracts. And then
on the shiny fax paper.
Yeah, and then you would FedEx
it's
your
on the
contract.
roll.
So no one could fuck you because you would FedEx them the physical contract. They wouldn't say, "Oh, I lost it. I didn't read the email."
Yeah.
And then you would get it. They would say, "Okay, I got it." And of course they did. There's a tracking number. It's 2-day delivery. And then they have to turn around, sign it, and execute their fucking job. It was so nice. And the Japanese people sometimes would send cash, crispy $100 bills in FedEx. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Like, that's how Chisei fucking with that magazine would pay. Like $100 US bills. And then with Phoenix, they would wire transfer the money into your account.
Yeah. And you got paid by Phoenix, correct, Iberg? That was your first big sponsor?
40G, 2001.
That's great.
Give thanks to Japan. I never made it in my life, David. I got nothing but love. They love the sport so much, man. And if you really got to see how much money they put into it, like those events, like it was above it, and how they took care of people, what they respected, how they learned the history of it, learned the athletes. Everyone probably knew David's middle name at the events.
100%. They were all in. And yeah.
So you want to be a twin tipper now. You fucking become the Superman like 2001. Like you just drop on the seat, like, when do you see that you make it? Because I don't remember you winning contests at the beginning. You blew us all away by your video segments, for your first couple of years. But like, how do you look at it as entering the scene? Was it because of Berman? Was it because of like park shoots, or how did you kind of break onto the scene?
If I did, I feel like I never. Probably my big first was at WSI in Whistler.
So not even second generation. The year before.
Well, of course, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm.
Oh no, that was the same year. You had the all white suit.
That's
and
the same.
Fucking landed 18 fucking D-spin 9s in a row, except for the very final jump.
Yeah.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Second generation year. Yeah.
That was the most, dude, this kid, he had more perfect landings than Wallish on this like trick that he did all night. And it was the sloppiest landing. This is the best memory I have right now in my head that I haven't thought about. And you've never seen it. No impact, no impact, no impact. And I think it got so slushy at that because you didn't win at the end, did you? Vinny won or something, and you crashed.
Vinny or Cousin won.
But you did like 16 or 17 perfect tricks in a row. No impact. And then
they had better tricks overall anyways.
I'm just saying my only memory from that night was your perfection. Like I never seen no impact landings like you that night. That's my memory, is your no impact landings on that. So it's these things, man.
Another young guy question. What was WSI?
The World Ski Invitational.
Okay. And what importance did this play in the culture at the time?
What's that?
How significant was this event? It wasn't a FIS event, right?
No. It seemed pretty big to me, and I think most people. It was towards the end of the season too, so it was one of the last, at least one of the last in North America contests, and it was in Whistler. If there was good weather, nice weather, it was amazing. It felt like a great contest. And the parties were pretty legendary. The prize money was crazy in my mind. And yeah.
Fuck, man.
It was the biggest of X Games in 2001. So it has a history. It used to be called the West Beach Classic originally, boarding only out of Whistler in the 90s. It added in skiing, and so all of a sudden became a 2-week event: snowboarding and then skiing. And it's the World Ski and Snowboard Invitational, WSSI or something.
And WSSF Festival, yeah.
And so, dude, they had concerts. The concerts were huge at the base. They had a big air at the base with the concert venue, so the whole village could pack at the big air venue, like in the plaza. Like just everything about it was the highest, most fun level you could have as a competitive skier and having fun, because it
And you
wasn't.
show up, registration, the organization of it was super well dialed, and you got your credentials, and yeah.
So it was huge. It was huge. And all right, and we're already talking about events, and I wrote this down because we skipped over it. So the U.S. Open of skiing, is that where like the Parkasaurus shoot was? Was that like the thing, the freeze event?
That was just the U.S. Open. But my favorite memory from WSI, well, one of them was probably Scott Schmidt that year partying on the free skier bus. And Scott Schmidt, me and Scott Hibbert are partying on the free skier bus. And he's just like, you guys are going to lose tomorrow. And then we partied late and then wake up in the morning and manage to still do all right the next day. So that's, anyway.
What's up, Scott Schmidt?
Yeah, take that.
That is a good one.
Yeah, the U.S. Open, I don't know, it was always fucking freezing cold. But what, yeah.
So what was that event? Because I think I briefly like
did the freeze guys start it initially, or did they take it over? They started.
The U.S. Open was started by Freeze Magazine in 1998, and so it was the pinnacle event for our sport that anyone could go and register in the world, show up, and potentially beat the best person in the world with the biggest sponsor.
Yeah.
And that was like the pinnacle event, and there was not too many people in the sport, and that's why it worked for the first like 5, 6 years, 7 years. But after that, it's like, dude, if you really wanted to have that opportunity, it'd take a month long.
Yeah.
There's so many kids now. And then Parkasaurus was a photo shoot put on by Freeze Magazine, mostly in California.
Yeah.
And it was just where they brought everyone together and said, okay, we're going to take photos and give you dope ass features.
Okay, yeah, because all this footage is in all these early level 1 movies and poor boy movies.
And volume video magazine.
Yes, exactly. And so when I interviewed Jake Witt, he described the U.S. Open as like freestyle skiing before that was like all these different tribes around North America that were completely like, it was like almost like uncontacted tribes that didn't interact with each other. And then the U.S. Open was finally like when everyone merged, and it's like, oh shit, those are those kids from Lake Tahoe. Oh, those are those kids from Montana. Oh, there's that guy from Ontario. Is that how you guys saw it at the time?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think
there's those French guys.
Yeah.
There's the Swedish kid. There's Yoon.
There's Yoon, yeah.
No.
That's crazy. That's really sick. So that's like the first time the whole freestyle skiing community was all together in the same place, skiing with and against each other.
And then actually,
you can learn whoever the dopest newcomer is, right? Like when Simon comes out at age 13 and he just fucking boosts in that pipe and he hits the deck every fucking thing. And we're all looking at each other like, yo, how the fuck is that little guy not dead? And he's just, I'm going to murder you guys. And this is like 3 years before he starts dominating, right? And we're just like, but he put his name on the map that day. And like, so there's just so many things that you could do with, and then you would learn who they were. You'd watch them in their career as they'd go back, film with Berman, film with Poor Boys, do whatever. And it was just like, it was an amazing place to learn about people and styles and crews and whatever.
Yeah. And Iberg, maybe you could speak to this because like I mentioned, all these early movies, it's all footage, it seems like, from the same like 3 events or like the same glacier. So what was going on? Like, would you filmmakers just show up and like, oh, I'm just going to shoot everyone that's here. And then, oh, look at this. There's Josh Berman right next to me getting the exact same shots.
So that's exactly why I made movies, because I thought it was the gayest shit ever. I was just like, okay, everyone's on the glacier and everyone does contests. So my first movie, I was like, okay, no contest footage.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do park footage, but it can't be a park shoot necessarily. And if it is, I got to be when no other cameras are there. And so it was like, it kind of made people not like me. because I would show up to public places and then cameras would show up and try to shoot over a shoulder. But it's just because you have to imagine, like, sponsors are paying for all these guys to move places. So all of a sudden they're there so they can be documented. You know, and so that's what made the world go round, was that and then everyone's training all summer at camps, both glaciers. So why not 50 cameras line up side by side and shoot Dave's, like, dude, like I just watched your level 1 segment was the same 2003. So ready, fire, aim year
forward
and whatever level 1's was. And like that one jump at Breckenridge, Keystone, I don't know, Colorado. And you just fucking murder it, right? You go, you switch 3, you're 9, you switch 10, like you go through your whole trick bag on one jump. But Poor Boys and level 1 kind of shared it out of courtesy for Chricton, I would say, because they're like, yo, he murdered it so hard, it's worthwhile in both our films. We don't care. And it was. So some things it benefited the people, but to be a movie maker, it was so gnarly. Like everyone had 30 guys in their movies, man. It was just stack clips. So I don't know. It was I don't know. Do you have any idea why like it would only be contest footage and summertime footage? But Chricton killed it though. 2001, Chricton's like, fucking, I'm making royalty. I'm watching his fucking urban shit. This is where I'm going to give you your flowers right now, Chricton. I rewatched that and I was thinking all the urban I shot in 2001 with the fills, and I'm like, yo, what? How many kinks did that have? What? None of my crew could do that. And then I'm watching your 2002 shit that, like, I was so hyped on you after 2001. I call you and then like you're like, yeah, my brother can film me for your movie after school. Dude, this kid had the dopest work.
What kind of camera does he have?
I didn't even give a fuck. I shot a whole 16 movie the year before, and I knew Dave Crichton was so ill. I was like, just document. And he's like, yeah, my brother can get it. I'm like, yo, you go to school and shit? He's like, yeah. He's like, but we can get shots before school and after school. So I'm working with kids in 2002 that are from Tahoe, that are sleeping in, partying, doing whatever. And I'm dealing with Chricton on a phone. And he's like, yeah, my brother got 6 shots last night. I'm like, 6 shots? And you went to school this morning? And so, I don't know, man. The work ethic that you had, Dave, man, that I saw in 2001, 2002 as a youth. So 2001, 2002, I'm 21, so you are 18 and 19 at this age. It was nuts. Like, I think it was a senior year in high school, 2002, when he was finishing it. And I don't know. I'd never seen no one with your double work ethic like you at a senior level high school that was in school. So I want to say big up yourself on that, Dave. Because then I remember, like, Phil asked me today. He's like, I'm like, what's the illest memory you got, Casabon? He's like, dude, that forward segment, I don't believe it's real. Did he really film all those clips with those times at the beginning?
Yes, I had the same question.
And I go, I don't fucking know, but I 100% say yes, just because the year before what we did was stereotype. And so your answer is all those times are real?
Yeah.
But it's realistically that many shots in a day and stuff.
Well, it was 100% in one day. I can't honestly remember if,
But point being your work ethic, and that's why I want to just say is like, man.
Well, I was always hungry, like get somewhere and you're like, holy fuck. If you know Ottawa, it's not always the most productive. So when you go away, you're like, this is, Oh,
I don't know. You're the only Ottawa guy that I really knew. Like, I lived with Sarah Burke, so I was like, that's Ontario.
Yeah.
And then when I got to watch you, I was like, yo, you the illest motherfucker from Ontario. And the craziest part was, I always laugh because I'm like, yo, he's still in Ontario. So I always get impressed by Quebecers and Ontarians when they don't move from home and they still murder. We haven't even got into the fact that this kid is the best pipe skier in the world. And he's from Ontario, and there ain't no fucking super pipes there.
Yeah.
Like crazy shit.
So, okay, Chricton, question. What did you think of your shots from comps and like in glacier shoots or just like summer camps being used in multiple movies? Did you think it was cool, like that you were included in so many movies? Or do you think it was whack that your same trick?
Yeah, no, I definitely you'd be like a purist. I thought it wasn't the best, that you're supposed to have had only that shot in only one segment. If you wanted to have different segments, sure, but then if you spread it around, you were just.
But that's how hot he was because he was injured the whole year and he only had one shoot in the spring and everyone needed a piece.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
It was whack.
Yeah.
Whack, yeah. Not whack in like the sense that whatever, but it just, you never, I don't know.
No, and it's okay. When did Urban come into play for you? Like, when were you first riding Urban, and then when were you shooting it? Because, I mean, I feel like this is all leading up to how insane your forward segment was. But let's talk about like when Urban came into the mix.
First riding around here with Garrett Britton and Scott Hibbert. What the fuck was the movie? I'm trying to remember the movie name now that we had made.
You guys made your own movie.
Yeah, what the hell was that movie? Did Garrett make it?
So were you and Garrett and Hibbert on the same freestyle team, or how do you guys all link?
No, neither of them did moguls or anything. And then when did I meet? I forget when we all first met. There was a big...
That's a big deal in your career, right? If you're making your first movie with them and all of a sudden they're not with freestyle, but you're doing urban with them in like 2000, that's great.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Are they rollerbladers?
Scott was. Garrett, did Garrett rollerblade? Garrett might have rollerbladed.
So let's get back. How do you get stoked on, like, so Aggressive Productions, we're seeing this, you're going to the US Open, but when are you getting into urban? Because you're not being too inspired. Like, New Canadian Air Force is not like super urbanized, you know, like
No.
you take it to very quick by 2001. Like, where do you, is it like, I get your rollerblade influence, but you're obviously shredding with a crew and
I would have been with Garrett and Scott around Ottawa, and then, and I'm sure the second we saw Johnny's movie, right, it was just like, all right, yep. And
so do you feel like you're good when you first start?
And balance, right? When the heck were the first rails? Yeah.
But do you, like, when you first do it, do you feel
like, were we hit? What's that?
Like, when you were first hitting rails, did you feel equal with the guys in Degenerates? Like, I could hit what they're hitting.
Probably not.
No, because it seems like I just get bugged out. Like when I watched again today and related you in 2001, second generation, that what everyone in the big names were doing. You know, like the Three Phils, the New Canadian Air Force. You were so above the urban rail skill, like 3 times above. It's like Tom Walsh 2007. There wasn't anyone close urban wise. You know, and that's kind of how I like now looking back 22 years later and watching all these videos today. I was like, holy fuck, man. Like
Scogan was leading. Yeah.
But Scogan still didn't have the super technical. He was technical where he could do right foot forward, left foot forward, lip slide or non-lip slide. But when you see the technical shit that you actually did, 1-footers, like 50-50 1-footer, do those Luke hangs with you and Hibbert that you were doing.
Yeah, that was we started doing those on the Vermont trip down with Berman and Sarah and Grinnell and Winterton and yeah.
I'm just saying your level was above and beyond. Because I remember very few people, like Belan was trying Royales like summer 2001, you know, like, but I remember like you did it and then me and Belan were watching your shit and we're like, what the fuck? You know, and then you had like just certain multiple kink shit that was unrealistic for anyone else, I think. But so doing that, like when did you still didn't answer it before, like when do you really see yourself as like equals with all these guys? Because now I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, you're kind of equal with like the royalty guys, I'm making a movie with you in 2002. You know, like when do you feel like I am fucking here? This is my shit too.
I always felt like I was playing catch up.
Why?
I think probably because like coming from Ottawa and then would show up either to a shoot or to a contest and be like, I've barely skied, or what I have been skiing, it's been freezing, or like the local hill this year decided not to build a half pipe or decided not to build a good table. It always felt like, yeah.
So 2002, man, you boosted like, you've probably seen this, Ethan, where he's like an all green helmet, green jersey on the left wall, like this alley-oop flat spin that's like 20 fucking feet out of a 16-foot pipe. How the fuck do you come from Ottawa and be able to do what, like, I mean, you skied pipe like a pipe skier. You didn't ski it as like that, like quarter pipes that are facing downhill. You didn't do that second pump. You didn't do a lot of shit. Like what was your training for half pipe to I mean, you were the best, but yet I'm guessing you didn't train at all.
We had, for 1 or 2 years, we had a half decent small pipe at our
your ski hill?
Yeah, and then the Dragon broke, and then it was like, I forget. And then they
Half
moved
decent's a 12-footer, right, with a pipe Dragon.
Oh fuck! It might have been like 8 or 10.
But your parents,
and it was actually good for like one day of the year and it didn't even need the pipe dragging because it was a spring and there was a hit just carved out on either side of the wall. And then the Dragon broke, and then the owners, 2 brothers, owned another ski hill, but they moved it to the other ski hill that's like 2 hours away, and then never went to it. And then whatever happened, and they just never reused it, right? Like, never used it anymore. Probably sold it or whatever. And that was the same trauma.
What was the name of it?
Camp Fortune.
Good.
Yeah. And Trauma had a pipe for a bit, and they'd have contests, and then when the contests were on, the pipe would be half decent, but then they stopped having a pipe too. It was crazy how like every hill, everyone's got a pipe, and then all of a sudden no hills have half pipes.
It was nuts. I always wanted to do a documentary. I'd say in early 2000s, there was probably 200 pipes in North America. And in 2012, I wanted to make this documentary and like gather all the photos and be like, okay, there's 10 fucking pipes left. Yeah. And then we're an Olympic sport now, but there's 10 fucking pipes. And I was it makes sense to me, like to see the pipes disappear like they did when it finally got what it needed. But the problem was they went to super duper. So it was like, hey, let's go to 22 feet. And then everyone tried to keep up. And they're like, oh, that's what you need to be a standard. But if everyone would have kept that 8 foot for fun, little invert that you can pop and have like maintenance is less, money is less, like it would have been a genius move, but they just fucked up.
100%. And then that's where you get all the young kids in it and everything else.
How scary is it? Like dropping it on a 22, like, who wants to go into a triple kicker on an invert site? No one.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Triple kickers lined up side by side all the way down the fucking hill.
Yeah.
So good tangents. But now we on that shit. Ethan, let's bring it back, man. We like early 2000s, like we haven't even got into some super contest shit. Let's stick on filming because like I want to pick it. My head still hurts why I'm so stoked on filming.
Dude, I love the street shots. Like, okay, this is what's really impressive about it. Some of your street clips today could be used in movies today, and no one would bat an eye. And that was filmed 21 years ago, dude. The picnic table drop, or the drop off the porch into the picnic table jib is a shot that would be very valid in street movies today. And it blows me away. So, like, were you getting inspired by anyone around you, or like where were you drawing inspiration from, or was it all from within for how you were hitting
no, 100. That was Mac Dog. Like the snowboard influence for us right then was huge. And yeah,
Okay, so it was the snowboarders that were showing you the way and how to be ill.
Yeah.
And what about?
I got a quick tangent.
Go ahead.
Mac Dog, like 2001, like man, you the do-rag king, big headphone king is JP Walker.
JP and Keir Dillon, yeah.
Okay, Keir, yeah, dude. Like if you can, Ethan, type in Keir Dillon half pipe, and then watch Dave Crichton. And like to me, Dave and Keir Dillon were the most exact same twins in the pipe that I've ever seen. Like they both would boost 5 to 6 feet higher than everyone else in the whole world in snowboarding and skiing on this alley-oop flat they would do on the left wall. And it was crazy. But yeah, I guess that's awesome, Mac Dog. I never thought of it. I just was always wondered. I was like, man, you always got do-rigs. I remember when we show up at the first Parkosaurus, and Mikael's like, man, his headphones are bigger than mine. And like everyone's all stoked on you, and like no one knows who Dave is. Shows up at Parkosaurus, like Ewan's rubbing his hair. He wants to look like Tanner. Like he wishes, like he's like, Iberg, I got bigger pants than JP Walker. This is Ewan Olsen. So everyone's rubbing their head like Tanner because Tanner rubs it like Mikael. Then they put headphones on like Mikael, and then Chricton just shows up and has a style that's like, all these kids have been working on their style for a year. Chricton shows up with a style they all think is ill, and he fucking dominates and does shit they don't do, man. So it's like, I never seen so, like myself included, like I'm shooting with the fills, like doing, and pipe is my favorite element of freestyle in 2001. And so when Chricton comes on and like has a style in pipe, that's not tweak, grab, dang. Like it was ill, dude. So I don't know, like, so I guess let's go to this point. Like, so we're at filming still. Your brother's done a bunch of films. You're into this. Like, what are your goals when you set out in twin tip skiing? Like, are you just like how when you started in moguls and you're like, I want to be the best, I want to win X Games? Or are you looking at it now like, oh, rollerblading, surf, I want to go create the dopest video segment?
I always thought I thought a video was the most important, but then it always seemed like doing well in contests was the way to get to putting together the best video segment. That there was always like the idea that the sponsors, you had to compete in order to then be able to put a good video segment together.
But you love competing, right?
I think I did and I didn't. Like, I had that competitive side, but at the same time, you know, I don't know.
I don't know either. That's why I asked.
Competing also sucks. Competing's stressful.
So when I watched
and if someone had been like, yo, do you want to just shoot all year? Yeah. Like,
so 2003, 2004, you're the best fucking pipe skier in the goddamn world. Straight up, everyone will admit it. Tanner will admit it. Simon will admit it. Like, the shit that we watched you do, the way you hold your edge, the rotations you would do, like, you have to, are you not, when you're doing this, right? Like, it's a big point, right? Like, Candide and CR just kind of proved themselves. Tanner's fucking wanting to do this. We all looked at you as the best. I mean, you were 2004 World Super Pipe champion. Like, you should have won X Games if your ski didn't come off in 2004. You know, like, when you're going through this, is it like super stressful for you, or is it like, fuck yeah, man, I'm just gonna go? Like, how is it for you? Because you were the best, man.
That year it felt good. It felt like it was on a roll for sure. At the same time, Candide wasn't there, right? And CR and those contests, that X Games they did the year before was next level. That was the huge jump in pipe skiing that year. And then they were, you know, but yeah, contest year felt pretty good.
I was just curious because like Tanner loves contests. Henrik loves and these guys are guys that love contests as much as filming, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I
think it was more for me. It was like, well, it's something you got to do, but it wasn't. Yeah.
So you viewed contests as an obligation.
Yeah, like unless you're, I don't know. I mean, Pollard did contests, but he was probably one of the first guys that really was super pro without having to do them.
I want to make one statement about Pollard. He did win an X Games qualifier in the year 2000, and he won his heat at the U.S. Open in 2000 slope style.
Yeah.
So he still had to prove himself.
He did.
One of this phase knew they could do everything.
For sure.
Yeah. So where did your passion lie then? If contests were kind of the obligation,
filming 100%.
In at park shoots or in the streets or both.
Everything. It would have been you had to do everything. Yeah, the mentality for me would have been you had to do everything park, street, and then even I just did the slightest, tiniest bit of mini golf, backcountry stuff.
Yeah. What was your street philosophy? Because Emmett pointed this out to me in 2003, you do a creeper nugget, so the 1 foot ski slide on the wall, a creeper nugget, and then you hop and then you slide the ledge. And again, that's a trick that would be done today, and everyone would be like, "Word!" Okay, Harold, okay, Pete Kukov, okay, Dylan Manley, that it's a trick that's still valid over 2 decades later. So what was your philosophy for street? Because you're hitting stuff different. All those guys are just sliding to switch, that's it, or maybe throwing a spin in there, but your shit was different. So it's very interesting.
I don't know.
So I guess I'll extend. So are you a big visualizer? When you have spots, so I think it's really fun. I brought this up before, with Casaubon, right? And you watch his shit. He's 80% visual. And then it's 10-15% setup and 5% execution at most, right? So it's almost all visual with his urban element and what he does, and that's why he can go and execute something beyond fucking weird and crazy and unique and different first time and then say, okay, spot. So we'd see you pick a spot back in the day, what Ethan's saying. What is it, self-visualization, or are you pulling do you really, when you see a spot, are you oh man, I would hit this on blades, or JP Walker would hit it like that, or are you just straight on your own meditation? Because you were so special. So is it pulling from all
everything? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, there's probably not many original things. I don't know. Always drawing from other people.
Yeah.
Did you recognize at the time that you were doing it differently from everyone else? Would you have conversations with your peers and they're oh, I want to do this, and you're no, I want to do it completely different from all you other people?
No, I feel Hibbert was doing all the same stuff.
Maybe he's more underrated. Maybe he's the most underrated of all time, Iberg. Because I haven't even seen Hibbert ski.
Super important. But so he brings it up because I said, Phil, Casaubon said, when I asked Phil this morning, I said, give me something on Chricton. He said, Dave Crichton is the most underrated skier of all time. And we talked about it, and I was okay, I do agree with that, because you were this guy where Mikkel was style, you took style on crack, created technicality, influenced someone like Corey Vannuler, and Corey Vannuler influenced generation.
Yeah.
Beyond belief. And you were this crazy bridge. Fuck, why am I telling all this, Ethan? You're talking about who's the most underrated.
Oh yeah, so no, it's just different, because I do want to give Hibbert his props, because if we do look at the rotations and stuff, why I'm a super fan of David Crichton, they have some crazy rotations that you would see on certain walls, left wall, right wall, and stuff like that. But the difference between David and Scotty is David landed more. And so the underratedness is an influence, and that's what goes back to my biggest memory of WSI, of his landings with no impact. What my biggest memory of him as a career is to show effortless style, where the effort was shown. And it's no disrespect, but man, it's more of a compliment to Dave, where it's like, man, like we never seen someone do something so unique and show it effortlessly. And that's why I keep picking your brain, Dave, because I'm like, how do you be so effortless, if you're not a super visualizer, and that's why you're impressive. I don't know. That's my tangent on Dave, because like everything you brought, and this is turning more into a praise kind of podcast than asking your questions, because you deserve it. Like everything you did, and like it was really crazy for us all to see just everything you brought to the game, man. And just as Ethan's saying now, fucking 22 years later, he's like, that's still legit today. True.
Yeah.
Ethan, Dave, take it over.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think your best segment of all time is?
I'm not that stoked on any of them. I feel like every year I fell short.
That's good.
But I probably forward is probably stands out the most. Yeah,
dude, that forward segment, I screen recorded it today. I'm like, I need easy access to this. I'm not rewatching all of forward every time I want to see this. I'm gonna watch just this segment. It's so
possible. On YouTube.
Dude, that segment is so sick. Like at the time, well, okay, we already. So you're not sure if that that opening sequence where like, oh, this was the morning, this was lunchtime. You don't know if that was actually all in one day.
Oh no, it was. I'm almost positive it was all one day.
Oh, sick.
I can't remember if the times were like.
He's just saying the times might have been a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember now. I got a hernia at that contest. Some of it was it before the hernia or at? Some of it was with the fresh hernia.
I'm going to tangent. We went back to heart before you like kind of blow up and do all your stuff, and then you end up with Dina Star. So you're a young kid and you make a bunch of money. Were you good with money? Like, did you have good parents that taught you about like what you made, or did you deal good with sponsors? Did you better stuff? Because that's what I'm super interested too, because I got to deal with the Phils. They were really good with it. But how was your situation as a kid? Did you have an agent? Did your parents do it?
I didn't have an agent. I did. I mean, way back, I can remember writing my first sponsor me letters when I was probably like 14 or something. And I got goggles from Scott and ski poles, and then skis from Dina Star. But yeah, and when it started to get serious stuff, either my brother helped me a lot, but I don't know comparatively if it was ever like how my deal compared to anyone else.
So you never did you ever talk to your friends about what they made or anything?
No, I guess there's too I don't know.
Taboo?
Yeah, maybe. And then as far as save was half decent, but not. I mean, we used to spend a lot of money at the bar, right?
Yeah.
And other stupid stuff, but.
So what was your height then? Like when you became super duper star and had a ski and stuff, what do you think the most that you ever made in a year was?
Oh, I don't remember.
Not even a clue.
I don't know.
Because you all got paid all American dollars, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing as a Canadian that had to be beyond fucking awesome in 2005.
Oh yeah, because it was 30. It had 30 points probably at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the Phils just high-fiving every day. They're like, we get paid in American.
Yeah, and then you could pay taxes in the different states. at a lower tax rate than Canada. You didn't get a
I
tax
guess
credit.
my only question is, did the business ever matter to you in skiing? Like, did it play a role, like, in, like, how you lived, like, the stresses if you need to ski? Like, did it matter?
Well, I never made that leap, right? I was still in Ottawa, still going to school, still not fully didn't move to Mammoth. I didn't move to,
So were you always lived with your mother and father during your whole career? Like, because you were, yeah?
yeah. Well, then when you work, like, in a way, once the season started, you go on the road.
I get it.
So then it was,
that's like
I had it in my head, like, oh, I'm still going to go to school. I got to go to school. I'm going to go to school and ski, take the winters off, go to school in the fall, take the winters off.
So did you do this with university too? So, like, when we were, like...
Yeah, there was at the very end, like, there were a couple years that it was, I don't remember which, 2 or 3 years into university, I was still skiing.
So what prevented you from wanting to, like, for instance, move out to Mammoth and do the whole Tanner and Mammoth thing?
I think it was the pull to stay in school, and then it was probably like, well, I'm still going to stay in school and then still compete in the winter.
Mm-hmm. So I get to travel anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was just, the career was over before it started.
Yeah.
So
what put an end to the career?
Just health.
Just related to injuries or outside of skiing?
Related to my health. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
That's I guess we'll get into that, because you had the most interesting situation in my whole life of anyone I've ever worked with, ever, in the history of 25 years now. And I just get to see, like, where you went, like, who you were. Like, I mean, man, like, I've been trying to get your pro model ski forever. Like, that's how big a fan I am. Like, so I get to see you go to the spot, like, really quick. And I say really quick because, like, it was to me. Like, I saw Chricton become the best. Like, I'm around all the best guys, and I'm always thinking Dave's better. And so he gets to the spot 2004. But, like, so it's a sickness, right, that you have? It's not like a physical, like a knee problem or something.
No, Crohn's.
So when do you discover that? Because I never knew what it was. Yeah. And I still really don't. But, like, when do you discover that you have Crohn's disease in your life?
I can't remember. I was 14.
Okay, so it was before you were even a pro.
14, yeah. And then it was the first year on the National Development Mogul team, and I was sick in the fall. There's the World Cup at Trombone, and was sick there. And that's where I didn't ski the rest of that season, or not until the spring or something. And then it was just like every year or 2 years, it was always up and down. Get sick, get better, get sick, get better.
Can you explain to me, like, I know I researched it when I found out a long time ago when you had it, but I haven't for a decade plus. Like, what is Crohn's disease?
It's an inflammatory disease.
So what does that mean? Like,
you've got an inflammation in your body, and it's targeted mainly in your intestines.
And you can get it at any time?
It could hit any time, yeah. I mean, sometimes it could just go on and on if you never got treatment or something.
So you need treatment in life. It's not, once you get it, it's something it's a treatment thing that you need to be on forever.
Potentially, yeah. Everyone's got a different path. Like when I was 14 or 15, the first doctor wanted to take my colon out.
So is it a lethal threat? Like, is there a way you can die from it?
Not so much, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens then when you say you're sick? Are you
Well, you could, like, it could be serious enough where you end up, like, on a colostomy bag, right?
Well, that's what they wanted to do initially, and like treatments when I was diagnosed so long ago were super. Like when I was diagnosed in the pediatric hospital I was going to because I was still so young, they didn't have a single gastroenterologist, and now they've got something like 10. But yeah, so the treatments back then weren't as good as they are now. So it was like you cut it out, you cut your colon out, and you shit in the bag. And then you're like, oh fuck.
And is there things that like could aggravate it? Like certain lifestyle, eating things, drinking, partying?
All that. I mean, anything like that could 100% aggravate it and not be.
Did it?
Probably.
Okay. Because we partied, right? So that's because like I never knew, because like we worked at the highest level together, and then like I would see certain like effects or something little, nothing, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, how did that affect him?
Yeah.
And I only could think so much. So I'm just curious if the lifestyle and what you led as a pro skier, like, is that a negative effect, or is Crohn's always, can it just creep up on you whenever? And that's why, because it's.
I'd say a mix of both, like,
So it's not something you could continue to do, ski, like because of the potential of being sick?
I mean, I could have.
It just wasn't something you wanted to do because of it?
At that point, it seemed like maybe the stress and competing and everything, I just had to take.
Well, so I got a question. So other than like bathroom related stuff, it like crushes your energy levels, right? Like a guy I know that he's on the colostomy bag and everything. Like he spends like most of his day napping because he just has no energy at all. Is like that something that you could relate to?
Oh yeah, when it was bad, it was real bad.
Just in bed all day.
Yeah, and there were times where they call it extraintestinal inflammation, where like you get claw hands, and like to open your hand, you gotta like peel them open. The arthritis inflammation in your hands is so bad. And then some days you could go like 30, 40 times in one day.
Holy shit!
Like urgent.
No pun intended.
There were a few years. It was crazy. There were a few years when I was doing diets and shit, and like would bake goods and bring them, and was on these diets and everything else, and trying all sorts of different stuff, and like pack my ski bag full of crackers and muffins and other shit had made.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So did this affect you? In your
yeah, it was stressful.
Like 2000. So when you started filming and stuff, say U.S. Open, let's say 2000 through 2004, when you super dominated, like, was that affecting you ever during that run? Like, did you have to like all of a sudden like take off a month or two because of your sickness, or because it never seemed like it?
I can't remember. I mean, yeah, it did. I don't remember every.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you definitely have because it wore and tore on you, right?
Oh yeah.
It was long term, like. So does it come to a head and say, "Hey, that's too much"?
Well, that was that year. I forget my last year. It was just like I had another flare up, and it was too much. Like, all right, well.
So it's just not fun.
Got to prioritize rest and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because for me, anyways, trying to be a pro skier wasn't without stress. Like,
yeah,
you're either trying to compete or you're trying to learn new stuff. And
shit that could kill you.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, you got it, Ethan.
I was going to say, so what was it like stepping away? Because I'm sure you love skiing, and you're young, so it's like this probably was one of the first things in your life where you're like, well, shit, I have to give up on something I love because of something out of my control.
Yeah, it sucked. It was brutal.
Yeah, that sucks so bad.
And so, just quick question, like, so what year is this? Because I believe you got your pro model 2004-5 with Dino Star, or one more year later. But like, so I'm guessing the year you quit was the year you got a pro model. Am I
Well, I
right?
didn't quit, no, because I broke my neck that fall. Fractured my neck.
Okay, so what year is this? So I don't remember you breaking your neck.
Yeah.
So
Not a vertebrae, but like the spinous process or whatever they are, the little fingers, fractured it, and then healed up. Came back at the end of that year.
How did you break your neck? What happened?
180 in a staircase, and then ran into a pole.
Oh, okay.
Just was like there's a closed for the winter sign, and then it was kind of like so far away that never paid attention to it and was jumping it forwards, and then landed and went back and hit it. Yeah. I didn't think nothing of it, and then was like, oh, I should go to the hospital. Drove myself to the hospital, and sure enough.
What'd you think when they're like, because you got all these health issues already, and then like, hey, you broke your neck, or just like,
luckily it wasn't too bad. I remember Friedel and Liam were staying with me, and they're there, and they're just like, we don't want to be there when we wake up in the morning. And they drove home to Vermont at like midnight or something. They left. They're like, we don't want to be there in the morning when he's like, Mom, Dad, I got a broken neck.
Oh, they didn't want to deal with the fallout of you hurting yourself.
No. So they nailed
it home.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That's brutal. So yeah, go ahead.
How do you come to this conclusion? You have a pro model ski. You're not feeling well. I mean, and you're young, man. Like, right? So if I'm 26, you got to be maybe 22, 23 at this time. And so you have like, you're like young enough where it's like, oh, I'm still youthful. Like it must have been an overbearing.
I at that time, in a way, I didn't, maybe just completely oblivious, but to me it seemed like ski career, and maybe this was watching moguls, it'd be like, wow, people's careers are over anyways by like 28 or something, right?
True. We never seen.
So in my mind, it's like there's not much runway left, anyways. I'm fucking falling apart. But now I look at sports, and the most interesting thing I find watching the sports is like, who's still going?
Word up, Tanner 44, fucking Phil and Henrik, 20-year careers.
Liam,
it's on 25.
Look at Liam. Like, who's still crushing it? And they're old. And it's that, I don't think the idea of longevity in that way was in my head at all, that you would still, you know.
And that's why
it was still stuck in that mogul Olympic cycle mentality of every 4 years, and then that's it, and you see them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you do this at such a young age, like, and you go through it, and it's nice because you have a support structure, right? You're living at home with mom and dad, so it's not like you're really like on the other side in a foreign country in Mammoth. Because I have friends that have been in your situation in a foreign country in Mammoth, thinking about what they do with their life the next year. Yeah. So like, you have this good, like, is it an easy transition for you, or is it right away and then later on it's harder? But like, how the fuck do you go? Like, are you this sick? Are you in bed for months to have to make this decision? Or is it just you're that smart where you're like, all right, fuck it, there's other shit?
Yeah, it wasn't like, yeah.
You're not in bed for months.
No.
Okay, and that's what I always wondered, because I was just like,
it's like, oh fuck, I'm bleeding out my ass. I gotta go see the doctor, and we gotta figure out a new treatment.
I'm gonna miss the shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
don't want to have the talk about taking my colon out again. I gotta fucking.
Yeah. So what did that look like for skiing in your life? Is that just like you don't like, do you tell your sponsors, hey, I'm done with this? Or is it like a hard stop, or is it a slow, kind of drawn out stop?
I was planning on coming back, and then it was like, no.
Yeah, so you're just all at once. You're like, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to focus on being healthy and being in school.
Yeah.
Like, did you stop school too, or did you continue with school?
No, I continued with school.
Okay.
Slowly. Not even a full course load.
Yeah.
And I think I went to maybe, I wanted to not quit entirely. So it was like a bit of a slow, and then it was just no.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Iber, did you know any of this, or was it all a mystery?
No, it's always been a mystery, I guess, after skiing was done, you know? Like, because it's like, especially that time, like when he was his last year. So, like, it's not like he was on the contest scene super hard. I don't think your last year.
No, not at all.
So,
I think I pretty much missed the whole thing. Maybe like went down, didn't even compete in the Vermont Open or something, and was just down there because Dina Star was so involved in that.
So, but it's just big because, like, you never seen anyone go out with a pro model, right? Like, he just got his pro model, put in his work, fucking got to that point. And it was just like, holy cow, you just got to that, man. You earned that shit after 5 years of fucking dominating. And then now, so it was really always interesting to know, you know, like, and I knew it was from a sickness, but like, I didn't know what the story is. I never really asked you. And, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. And I'm just thankful you're still here today. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm thankful you came out to a B&E Invitational fucking like 2014 and 15. That was fucking awesome. The fact you can still ski, got little guys.
Yeah, my skiing was embarrassing there.
Not the point. Every single person, man, like we can still talk about you, you know, like as far as what you did and what you've done. And like, and that's why it's so fun, because skiing's timeless, especially because you guys are artists more than athletes, you know? And so that's what Ethan was saying. Like when you drop in, like, man, picture you painted is timeless.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of shit you did, it's not a result. It's about what you fucking did in the urban scene, what you did on film, and you really left your mark. So it's just interesting always to know how people got there and where they went and why they went wherever they went. And so that's kind of the point of this whole podcast, is just to kind of learn it. And because life's real, man. It happens. It's like you're blessed to be healthy. So
Yeah.
plenty of people we know are not healthy, but it's not.
Absolutely. And then my after school, because of signatures, basically, I went back to skiing when I finished school, moved out west for a season. And that was like my favorite season of all time.
You shredded with Turpin a bunch this year, right?
Yeah, that was some soul searching, and like, okay, I still love skiing. Skiing's the fucking best. And it was a super snowy year. And yeah.
Do you feel like anything was, because I mean, this is with everything in life. Whenever you have to sacrifice for something that's out of your control, what do you feel like you missed out on because you had to step away due to your health? Like, was there a feature you wanted to hit in the streets, or was there a better part or a contest you wanted to win? Like, what did you feel like you were stepping away from?
I mean, at the time, probably it felt like everything, and then just looking back. If I were to look back, it'd be like I feel like I never got to put together a segment a real complete segment. But
that's so crazy, because I feel like people look at that forward segment and they're like, I would kill to have a segment that timeless.
But think about it as an athlete, right? He put those dates and times on there, and it shows how minimum time he had.
Yeah.
So it's like a proof to him that it's like, dude, what could you do if you had more time?
Yeah, crazy.
So it's almost like, because it's like, how many shots you can stack. That's what impressed you and the audience. But the idea is like, it's not just about stacking, it's about perfecting that shit.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why you were awesome. Like, man, like to work like you and your brother. Like, yeah, you guys stack shit. And the funnest part when you stack shit is you learn shit. So it was fun to watch.
Whatever ended up happening with your brother? Did he continue to stay involved in the sport?
He still is. He's coaching the mogul team, the local mogul team, and his two boys are in moguls.
What team does he coach?
What's it called? Is it? I don't know if the name always seems to change. It might be the Fortune Freestyle team or Freestyle.
What's that? Fortune Mountain or whatever?
Yeah, Camp Fortune.
So you guys all live in the same area?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that goes.
Yeah, he's still super involved.
That's awesome. I read an interview with you, pardon me, where you talk about how important it is for you to live near your family, and how if you moved anywhere, you would just want to take everyone with you. So why move away? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, is that tied to like?
That still stands, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys are all still in the same area. No one left.
Oh yeah, I'm like 4 minutes from one of my brothers, 5 minutes from my parents, and then Big Mike, my oldest brother, he lives in the city, and my sister and him live like 3 minutes away from each other.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you still into surfing? Because that's what the interview was all about, is how you're surfing now.
Yeah, still in the surfing as much as I can around here, and then it's tough. Haven't used to do trips, but now with the kids, just like kind of biding the time until we can do or feel like we could do bigger trips.
Yeah. Damn, man. That's awesome. I got a completely unrelated question, but if you got any thoughts on that, I
have random shit now. Like,
I want to ask you something
for a while. Keep on forward.
I want to ask you something before I forget it, because it's from Forward, and it's so big today. You slid a concrete ledge in Forward, and that's huge today. People talk about sliding concrete all the time and how it's different. You don't slide concrete in the park. Where did you get that inspiration from? Because I feel like I don't see that a lot. Again, what I see in old movies is your guys' age, hitting rails to switch, and that makes it in a movie. And it's like, dude, that wouldn't even fucking scratch the surface today. But a concrete ledge is still valid 20 years later. So I'm just wondering where you got that inspiration from.
Probably snowboarding. And it was like, this isn't nearly as easy as on a snowboard.
So,
and then some of the other skiers said, which ledge was the big?
It looked like you were in Quebec City or something.
Had JP already slid the big red one?
So you did the Ottawa one. I don't know if like the one you did, the Ottawa one where I think it's Ottawa, where you go on and then go sideways and down. Like that big concrete one, I know is in Stereotype because I love that shit. But I don't think anyone did the red ledge by 2002 in skiing. But you're the biggest concrete, because I remember like that in 2002. I was so stoked, man. I watched that shot a million times.
It was under the castle.
Right. Creighton's got the illest. He had the
that one. Yeah.
Also, Creighton has the only high arms. Like, so if you ever watch him on rails, like I always loved high hands in skateboarding. So there's a skateboarder called Peter Smolik with shorties. And he always did all his fucking boards, all his rail slides on a skateboard high hands. And then when he'd land, his hands drop. So it's like double bang. And so Creighton had that shit, man. No one else had high hand fucking slides. I'd always pause the shit when I did it. High hands. You're going to be Creighton.
So this is what I'm learning. It's not Mikel Deschanel. It's no one else. It's the snowboarders that really were the juice behind.
Oh no! Well, and Mikhail, yeah.
Well, of course he was an influence, but every question we've asked, like, well, the snowboarders did this and the snowboarders did that.
But
But Mikhail was he was drawing from the snowboarders too, right? And then he happened to have fucking perfect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. All right, we got more digging to do. I really do feel like I'm putting together this big puzzle talking to these old heads, Iberg. Like, it's all...
I know, keep digging, man. I love how you're all stoked because, Creighton, there's this revolution's going on in the younger generation. And it's like 100% urban. So it's really fun for me as an old person to look at because it's the last thing an industry wants to support, right? Who wants to sell skis to have them destroyed on urban? All that is warranty. So they're not going to get sponsored, right? You got these Zoot Space movies, you got all these things. So they have to create their own lane when they're creating their visuals. Like, it's like rollerblading now. Late 90s. Ain't no one think it's really cool anymore. But the worst part about it is it's not even about not being cool. It like destroys the product that you're selling. So it makes these kids fucking super hyped. Because like that's what they can rebel against. And so that's why Ethan can ask you all these questions because, man, like to watch this new revolution that will happen over the next 5 years in freestyle, it's all urban. It's the only way to rebel as youth in this sport of freestyle. And it's so fun. Like, that's why I wanted to do this podcast. And that's why even listening to Ethan ask you questions, I get to learn shit. You know, so I don't know. That's what's keep going, Ethan, because I love learning.
Well, I got one for Creighton. I hope he has an answer, but being an old head, they get busy. Creighton, are you watching any crews today or any videos coming out today that get you excited, or are you tuned out?
I'm probably kind of tuned out. I just get bread like little tidbits from some of the accounts I follow on, but I'm not up on much.
Yeah.
Like some of the kids I got to coach who are now, you know, absolutely crushing it. And I see some of their stuff and then like end up seeing, but I haven't honestly, like the favorite things I've watched was a TGR, like about the small town ski hills and then
did you see the Minnesota version? Midwest?
Yeah, like that's what I'm fucking pumped on right now. And Pursuit of Soul was super good. The story. What's the story about the oldest ski town or ski shop in the States?
Oh, that one in New Hampshire, the one that Step did. Yeah, that was very well done. I forget the name of that, but
that was incredible.
Yeah.
So, I should sit down and watch some of the latest movies.
I guess you guys see some of the street skiing going on today.
I see some of it. I remember it here. Yeah. But no, I'm not up on it at all.
Dude, your head's gonna explode if you haven't really sat down and watched street skiing since you left skiing. It's gonna be like if you.
The step guys, it was like holy fuck.
Okay, yeah. So you were still paying attention when step.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I promise you, it's gotten even crazier.
Yeah, that's hard to believe because when they were doing it, it was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
it's absolutely nuts, man. And like the funnest part about this is like it's not about your goal is to put out the biggest segment or whatever. Do this. These guys are just totally doing it. It's just like rollerblading, man, because you rollerbladed, so you understand. Like, you know how many rollerbladers are out there for the last 20-some years doing the illest shit that no one sees, no one cares about, and there's no goal other than self-satisfaction.
Yeah. And then it was like also it was all endemic. Every brand was endemic, and it wasn't these outside big brands, right? And then you might have an industry that's just internal, self-sustaining.
Yeah. Interesting. I already know where Iberg's walking off to.
Taking a pee break through the rain, man. We ain't stopping with Creighton. Once he disappears, look, he's still drinking coffee.
All right, so I got to ask you guys something about rollerblading because Bill Burr has this joke, and you guys can stop me if you've already heard the joke. The joke is, "What's the hardest part about rollerblading?" And the punchline is telling your parents you're gay. And he says that killed rollerblading. And so, as a rollerblader, do you feel like that impacted you in a seriously negative way?
No, but the sport, I mean, that's probably around when did it get kicked out of the X Games?
So again, I was born in '98. I probably started paying attention to the X Games.
And then, or the street got, I don't even remember.
I've never seen it in the X Games in my life, but Iberg is a historian, so he might know.
Yeah. But 100%, that it totally sewered the sport.
Yeah, the perception that it was
it exploded the sales in it. It was the fastest growing sport, and skateboarding was like, what the fuck? So, yeah. That's it's a great Bill Burr bit. But he talks about how that one joke just completely made everyone hang up their skates, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're done with this. Iberg,
I wish I had your pro model ski back there, man. We could have a La Rose, we could have a Candide, a Bellinger, a Chricton. Do you even have a pro model of your own?
Somewhere, yeah.
Iberg, let's bring this home. How do we wrap this up, man?
Bring it home, man. We got a fucking what else, Chricton? I don't know. What else did I
Dave, I mean, this is the first podcast you've done. Do you have any way that you'd like to close it out? Chricton?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because this is your...
Speaking of vehicles, whatever happened to your caravan?
Fuck, you were in my minivan. I started
how many miles did you have on that thing by the end?
310,000. So I had a 1989 Dodge Caravan with wood paneling on the side that I made my first couple movies in, and drove this shit all around North America. So that's what Creighton's talking about. But it was epic. So, okay, Creighton, we're just going to go off right now. We won't put any of this in. But I need to know more. So when we're in Mammoth, we're filming in Sonora. You've been to Mammoth, right, Ethan?
Oh, yeah.
You know where Sonora is?
No, I don't think so.
Sonora Pass.
Kind of very far. It's past
Sonora Pass. Okay, yeah.
Past Mono. Yeah. And then when you go into Sonora Pass, it's pretty far down there where you park your car in Stonewheel. Well, Dave, we're filming with one day, and he's like, yo, I'm going back to the car. And he headed back to the car, and he decided he was going to run or walk back to Mammoth.
From Sonora.
Dave, why the fuck did you think it would be okay to move, walk, or do this movement in life?
I had a disagreement with Christy, and so I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go sit in the car all day. Because she was kind of chirping me about, freeloading on her sled. So I was like, fuck. And I went back to the car. And then I'm sitting in the car, and I'm like, it's like fucking, I don't know, it's probably like 9 a.m. or something. I'm like, I can't sit here all day. And I'm trying to think, how far was it back to town? I'm like, I could fucking run that. And then sure, I get like halfway there, and I'm like, no, I can't run it. And start hitchhiking. And like some church lady is driving through in her van, and she picks me up and drops me back in town.
But didn't you get blisters on your feet?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad I know that Christy was missing link. I always thought you were that's the day you mentally lost it.
No.
And so I always made that up in my head.
No, because I just won Park City, the world's, and it was like at 120 grand US or something. It was like, you should be buying a sled. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm not going to leave a sled down here. I still live in,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. I appreciate that story. What else do I have that I know the answer to? I don't know, Creighton. What was your best memory, man? Of your whole ski career? Of all the stuff that you got to do, travel, compete, film. Do you have something that you really remember that was really awesome of your experience of all the fucking fun things that it brought to you?
I mean, you could pick different categories. You could break it down into categories of all the different fun. There's so many, so many different highlights.
What's your favorite party memory? We never talked about the partying, but you mentioned that WSI had some good parties.
Oh yeah, legendary, the Savage Beagle. Party with Flu. I don't know.
It's all a blur.
One of the favorite parties was me and Hibbert were down in LA. This one always stands out, down in LA, and there was Super Park Parkosaurus, and it was late to get up there, and we didn't have a ride sorted out, and we randomly got like a stretch excursion limousine and partied on the whole drive up, and then showed up there like fucking. But yeah,
that's great.
I don't know. Honestly, favorite is honestly probably the season I spent in Whistler, and then just some of the coaching after that. That was nice.
You still coach?
No. I did two. I coached the year. I coached a bit the year in Whistler, and then did 2 seasons after that coaching.
What do you do now in life?
Construction.
Build houses?
Carpentry. Yeah.
Not just like you do everything?
Yeah.
Electricity?
No.
Plumbing?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I can, but I don't.
Oh, they're special category people.
Yeah.
Hammers and nails. And
hammers and nails, yeah. Mainly Finnish carpentry. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's just like skiing, though. You got your segment. You make something, and then you stand back, and you're fucking pumped on it.
Who is your favorite skier that you ever watched as a fan?
I mean, Mikhail and Candide. I would have to say Candide now. Look.
Did you have any favorites after? Because those are your legends before. But did you see any people or did you disconnect when you left?
A little bit for a bunch, and then came back. Honestly, some of the local kids that I coached, Jameson Irvine. You know J-Mo?
No.
You don't know J-Mo?
Don't know J-Mo. Is he Canadian? Is he on the national team? Does he win stuff?
Well, he was, and then his back was fucked, and he stopped. But he's like, oh Jesus!
Oh fuck! What's he do now though?
Now he's in construction too.
Oh fuck!
Come on, you don't know J-Mo?
No, but I do now. J-Mo, big up. What's his construction company? Let's send the people there.
Irving One. Oh man.
No man, I'm sorry. I don't. I'm
I don't even know.
You guys have a unique. The fact you said
he skied on 195s.
I'm saying the fact you said Ontario had a freestyle legacy. I never heard that in my 44 years of life. Quebec dominates. British Columbia has a little bit, but I never heard of Ontario. And it's fun because you pulled a combined skier as your guy. That's fun.
Atkinson.
That's fun. I love the accident. I love them. But I'm just saying it's you guys, I don't know. I believe you and Sarah put Ontario on the map to me. As far as freestyle. So, I don't know. I'll end on that one.
Yeah. Chricton, I got to say, even though your ski career was short, you still get so much love and recognition. Maybe if it's not even shown to you, but Jason Aarons texted me in the middle of this about a different episode I did, and I'm like, oh, I'll get back to you after this interviewing Chricton. And he goes, no way, Chricton is the absolute GOAT. So you got people even to this day, that are just so stoked on that like short little run. So, as Iberg says, big ups for that. That's crazy.
It's forever, man. Like, style's forever in the art that you created and you put out there. Like the contest thing, I say it every episode almost. You guys are athletic artists. You're Circus Olay individuals. You go out and entertain. Sometimes people say you have to compete and you fucking dominate. But because your silhouette, like, express, like, we can watch it and we know who you are, it's timeless, man.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's some of my favorite, thinking back now, shooting with Sage and Pete O'Brien in, where were we staying? We were just, what was that near? Fuck, out west. Anyways.
sounds like it's all like the idea.
No, it was out, not Hood. Anyways.
Bend. So you're with Sage and Alex, and what's happening here in the
Just shooting in the backcountry. Springtime.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting late there, and we appreciate you staying up, even though you got young.
Yeah,
little
where
kids.
are you, Ethan?
I'm in Seattle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for this week, but it's only 8:00. We got a little party after this. I'm gonna go Uber off too, but it's still pretty early in the night, so might eat some dinner. But yeah, we appreciate it, man. This was awesome. Our third old head at Iberg. We're cruising along with this.
We got Ben Shetler next week.
Oh,
He makes
boy.
fucking Grateful Dead videos now for the Sphere in Vegas while fucking doing dope skiing in the background.
And being best friends with Rob Machado.
And fucking Bill Walton and the fucking Dead.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Bill Walton. That just happened. You know that? Bill Walton just passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, man. Like,
Thank you, guys.
couldn't take anything out of it, man. Like, I appreciate you to tell your story, like, because I learned some shit. And then also just, I don't know, man, know that you played a big impact on everything that kids are doing still today. So that's what you need to know. Go pound some nails now and know that doesn't mean shit. Kids are what matter.
Word. Well, thank you and good night, Crying.
Right on, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.
Say, we will. Boom. Beautiful, Dave Crichton. That was a sneaky good one, Iberg. Even though, you know, as sometimes it took a little poking and prodding to get some stories out. I feel like the territory we covered on Japan was mind blowing for me. I had no clue any of this stuff was going on in Japan. And for your generation, you guys finally got the answer of what the hell happened to Cryton and where'd he go.
Yeah, no, we always kind of knew it was a sickness, but it was like, I don't know, everyone deals with shit differently, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun when you see someone not just struggle and hold on to something and then just be like, yo, man, that kind of sucks to have this. I'm going to go fucking redirect.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a crazy thing. Like a mid-20-year-old who's top of the game to have to reevaluate life.
It's tough, man.
You know, it's like, it's kind of like if Alex Haller had to do it right now. That's
yeah.
that age was a little younger, a year younger. So I don't know. It was nice that we got to talk with him, and it's fun to hear his shit. Stoked he's doing good. Got little midgets.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We got
if we can schedule it, he's surfing in Nicaragua right now. If we can get Ferdy for our next young guy, that would be epic.
I think we got a good chance.
I think we got a good chance too. We'll see when he responds to our little group chat we got. But that's all I got, man. How many doobies you got? Are we still averaging? You probably got, let me guess, 5 or 6? 7?
Like, I mean, we're still holding a good 3 DPHs.
Yeah.
About 3.5 DPH tonight.
Yeah.
Movies per hour. So it was our shortest episode, but as you could see, like, we had to prod a little bit.
Yeah, but we're still 2 hours. That's longer than a lot of other podcasts are going.
I'm blown away the lengths we go.
We go. Oh, that was our shortest one. 2 hours. That's like the length of a feature film right there.
In 1998.
It's tough when you set the bar with Tanner, episode 2, getting 4.5 hours.
Dude, we hit like 3 with fucking Alex, I think.
We just can't, I mean, but those guys, I mean, Creighton's got a short career,
That's true. But Mosley might have been less.
Mosley hopped on and he was like, listen, guys, the longest I've done in the past 10 years has been 40 minutes and we're already at 2.5 hours. You got to wrap this shit up.
He never said that.
No, he never said that. He goes, I have to go pick up my kids.
He gave us time. You know what? I gave him the pregame. I let everyone know. I say, we go 3 hours minimum. They say, whoa.
We scared. It amuses me how much we scared Mosley. We came in here and just full on attacked him. I love it.
30 minutes. All right, man. Have a great night. Fucking, we guys see you next week.
Yep. I will see you soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.